Hello and welcome, everyone. We'll get started in just a few moments. This is the Black Woman is God workshop, African Diasporic Art and Healing, and I am your host, Miss Idris. So we'll wait just a moment and see if anyone else joins, and we should begin in about 1 minute. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Idris Hassan, and I'm an artist, visual artist, cultural documentarian, and an educator, and the founder of Chocolate Beats Media and Idris Hassan Arts. So today we are going to talk about, we're going to have an interactive dialogue about the healing aspects of art in the African diasporic communities. And when I say African diaspora, I mean African people who have been displaced either by forced migration or immigration to other places outside of Africa to live. So that enlisted people to do different things to survive. And one of them was create art. So today we're going to touch on that. Um, we will be discussing some of the health disparities that people face in African American and African communities globally. We will talk about how to use art as a healing tool and the creative power of artistic expression. And I will be sharing about my journey using art as a healing session. So I first would like to start out by having folks do a poll, and you should see it. It's been shared with you now. And it's just a brief question about in what ways can art be healing? Um, when we think about utilizing art, sometimes we think of it as a more static, stationary kind of item that is on museums' walls and things of those natures. But art is an active element in the world. So just would love to know. Answer the poll in your own time. So I'm going to take a moment now to share a little bit about my work as an artist and some of the things I've done in the world with my work and my background. So bear with me, please. Okay. My work as an artist is about uplifting the healing power of creativity. My master's thesis focused on healing arts in the African American community, and since completing it in 2000, I have sustained a passion for utilizing arts as a way to express healing. I have documented a lot of art in the community and also have had the great privilege to travel and document art around the world in Brazil, in Morocco, and also in Negro, Jamaica, among some other places. Um, so yeah, that's a little bit about me and my work. And I also want to talk about the work I've done with the Black Woman is God. It's been a very powerful um, exhibition to be a part of. And so I'm going to share with you a slideshow showcasing some of the work I've taken as an artist in the Black Woman is God and also as a documentarian of the behind the scenes uh, efforts of the Black Woman is God. So here we go. So I've been a featured artist, as I mentioned, since 2013 when the exhibition first debuted at the African American Art and Culture Complex. And I can testify personally to the healing aspects of this artistic endeavor. As one of the many women who face a history of demeaning imagery globally, creating work as part of this project has been personally healing, to be able to express and create things as a Black woman, honoring Black women, and as a documentarian, documenting the event, I've been able to actually see the visual impact of the artistry and the project, and Black women claiming their spiritual selves as a means of offering up healing in the community. So that's what this workshop today is, a part of the Black Woman is God exhibition. Again, thank you so much for joining me on this effort. So Ramir Bearden was born in Charlotte, North Carolina on September 2nd, 1911. Around 1914, his family joined the Great Migration from the South to the North. Jim Crow laws kept many from voting, as we are experiencing in today's times, and kept them from equal access to jobs, education, healthcare, businesses, and more. Like many Southern Black families, the Beardens settled in Harlem, in New York City, and Ramir Bearden would come to call Harlem and New York his home for the rest of his life. The piece that you're looking at on the screen is entitled The Dove, and Ramir Bearden was very, he did different styles of work, but the work that stood out the most was his collage work, which you see here, where Bearden was able to take different pieces of imagery and assemble them together in these kinds of scenes that showcase Black life. So the Dove right here, Ramir Bearden. For me, learning about Ramir Bearden was a very powerful experience and informed my work quite a bit. So it's really important to note how Ramir Bearden's work crosses time, crosses and spans time, and influences many artists today. In particular, some of the hip hop artists have taken to Bearden's work and have brought it forth into the present. If you look at the image below, you'll see a piece by Ramir Bearden entitled Pittsburgh Memory, which was completed and released in 1964. And on the opposite side, you see an album cover by the hip hop band The Roots, entitled And Then You Shoot Your Cousin. This was produced in 2014. So as you can see, decades later, the work of Ramir Bearden out of that time period of the Harlem Renaissance still stands up and is still influential. And it just goes to show the transformational and healing power of art and its sustaining ability to reach not only people in the current time frame which it was created, but also generations to come. I'm going to bring back the picture that we saw earlier by Ramir Bearden entitled The Dove. So this piece inspired my work greatly. I think it was 2013, I was part of an exhibition at the San Francisco Public Library by a group called Afro Solo. And it was works that were inspired by the masters. And a piece I created, and based on this particular piece, The Dove, was a piece inspired by what was happening with the death of Trayvon Martin. So this particular piece is called Black Men Reflections, Reflecting on Black Men. And it's done in the style of Ramir Bearden's collage work. And I, added my own little flair and flavor to it. But as you can see, it's a young man overlooking a cemetery. And the men are observers, they're witnesses to the lives that have been lost. So this particular collage, it's a digital collage. I started out doing collages where I would print pictures in the darkroom. This was the days of film, photography, and those sorts of things. But this particular piece is a combination of both digital, where I scanned these images that I took and also utilized some digital images to create this collage. And this was the first digital collage I created. And it has friends in there, it has family members, community members, and my father's in the corner there. And so it's very, it was a piece in response to wanting to do something about what was going on with Trayvon Martin, not in a way that would provoke violence or harm to anyone, but something that would make people think and feel. And I think that is really the healing power of art, especially in times of trauma or difficulty or protest, oppression. It brings a reflection to people, hopefully, that they can see themselves in, or gain a greater understanding about the conditions of the people being portrayed in the imagery. This piece was followed by this piece entitled Spirit Women. This was a piece I did especially for the Black Woman is God exhibition, and it showcased in, I think it was 2017. Excuse me. And this piece, so I had a piece for the men and I had a piece for the women. And this piece was very touching for me to create as well, because as you can see, we have the women, they are also in the same poses as the men in the other pictures where they're bearing witness. And I also tried to incorporate elements such as cotton. If we look at the history of Black people in this country in particular, we have exchanged our valuable life essence to pick the cotton and be a commodity. We ourselves, our bodies were a commodity. So it's like it's taking this that was a hurtful experience and transforming it into something beautiful and touching and uplifting. So that's this piece that was created, again, especially for the Black Woman is God exhibition. I thank you again for joining me today for this workshop. And if you have any other questions, you can email me at idrishassan@chocolatebeats.com. And if there are no other questions, we'll close out the session for today. But before we go, I do want to share the Black Woman is God exhibition is going on now through the end of December. And I'm going to put the website in the chat for you to go visit. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.